Why are goblins always an oppressed minority? Let's change this once and for all. In this video we're going to kick the smelly high elves out of the Summerset Isles and combine the powers of relentless warfare, strategic diplomacy and faithless betrayal to turn a puny goblin village into a bustling empire. Wanna know how? Chief Ifgrits of the county of Marnfalfen was a small, recently appointed count in the Summerset Isles, a vassal in the Empire of Elanor, ruled by the filthy High Elves. After fixing his council, putting the best goblins in the proper spots, Ifgrits picked a patron for his faith. As goblin shamanists, we can only pick Malakath, who gives a great increase in prowess. This is really useful because the goblin shamanism faith makes us able to claim land through having higher prowess than our opponent, costing only a bit of prestige. The next thing Ifgrits did was adopt feudalism by learning it from his liege, because if we want to make the goblins rule, they have to advance past being a tribal society. I started fabricating a claim on the county of Eudril, ruled by a fellow count also under the rule of our king. The enemy was very easy to defeat, and like that, we conquered our first piece of land for the goblins. Immediately after that, a hunting raptor trader came by and we bought our very own hunting raptor, because why not? This was going to help us big time, since goblin culture loves hunting and gives a ton of bonuses to it. So immediately we initiated a hunt and Ifgrits single-handedly managed to kill a wolf, giving us a ton of much needed prestige. We could now use this prestige to make a claim on another neighboring county, and his liege was a lot weaker than us, so basically free real estate. Things were going well. We now had 3 counties, the leveling in the martial lifestyle was going fast, and we even got appointed as marshal and master of the hunt for our liege. To keep this power flow going, Ifgrits needed to find alliances. However, the elves wouldn't marry one of their children to us, and most of all, Ifgrits wouldn't marry one of his children off to a freaking longneck. So we sought out other goblins within the realm and we found Dreek, a chief under the rule of one of the other elven kings, and we found Zook, an independent ruler of Kalkal. Yeah, I wouldn't feel safe being this guy. Anyway, like that, Ifgrits married off his son Ivi and his daughter Azul for 2 alliances, uniting the goblins in strength and making us able to assist our new friend Dreek in his war against his elven lord. Power to the goblins. Ifgrits needed some more prestige to claim more land. So it is time for another hunt, and this time he clapped a bear all by himself. What a guy. Sometime later, an amazing chance arose to really show the Empire of Elanor what the goblins were capable of. One of the elven kings organized a tournament. Ifgrits was a great fighter himself, well leveled in the gallantry and having 18 prowess. So, he packed up his stuff, summoned his entourage and went to the kingdom of Shimmerine to participate in the tournament. The first fight was against an unlanded courtier and was easily won. The second fight was a bit more tricky against an elven count, but Ifgrits still managed to win. And now it was time for the finals, against Marcano. I thought this was going to be the hardest fight of them all, but Marcano started out with a grave mistake. He turned his back against Ifgrits, giving him a chance to get a good blow on him. Ifgrits managed to finish off Marcano with a riposte. And like that, we won the tournament and showed the elves what the goblins were capable of. All bow for Malakath. Filled with pride, Ifgrits returned home. He showed the realm what the goblins could do. And this was just the beginning. With the tournament prestige in his pocket, he was able to claim the neighboring duchy of Lillamore, and he instantly declared war on them. He bested them even without the help of his allies. This greatly increased the size of the realm for the goblins, and together with unlocking the gallantry, Ifgrits became a force to be reckoned with. Our queen even asked to educate our child, possibly making him an elf? What? Nah, let's just not do that. Not long after, our queen was replaced by a child somehow. Ifgrits saw this as an opportunity to gain even more power. If he managed to overthrow her current regent and take his place, he might be able to gain some great benefits from it. So he started a scheme to become the regent of our new queen Fistalime. What? Who fists a lot? So we overthrew the current regent and took his place, but we ended up not actually using the regency power.
He always thought that it was a waste of money.
As Ifgrits was too busy learning the elven language, which would make him able to gain more respect from the elves. And it took freaking 22 years to learn this. Jeez. By now we conquered enough land to have more than 50% of the kingdom of Sunhold, and could now start fabricating a claim on the title of king. And with the claim in the pocket, it was just a matter of waiting for the right time, until our liege was weak. So we took the time to take over some more counties within the realm to grow in power. However, Fistalime knew what was coming and started forging alliances to stay safe from us.
She's too powerful, Brock.
We had to kill her to break her alliances and make place for a weaker liege. So we set up a murder scheme to kill her. The chance was very low, but apparently there were a lot of people who also wanted her dead. So within a year, she was killed, and her 5-year-old son, imbecile Elfistelheim, took over. The perfect time to perform a coup on the kingdom. Because Ifgritz built money-generating buildings in his holdings during his early life, we had a ton of money to work with, and hired a group of mercenaries which, together with our own men, rose against our liege, King Imbecile of Sunhold. Sadly, our wife Azaza died during the war, but this motivated Ifgritz even more. He quickly married a new wife, because that's what you do when your wife just died, right? And claimed the title of King of Sunhold for himself, and gave the kingdom a name that the goblins would be proud of: Narltopia.
It's the biggest piece of dog shit.
Ifgritz did it. Through the power of warfare, he managed to create a kingdom where goblins ruled over the elves. Although this was a great accomplishment and all, there was still a lot to be done, since the biggest part of Elanor was still ruled by filthy elves. But everything was about to change very soon. 15th of mid-year 2E 483, Chief King Ifgritz drank himself to death, and he was succeeded by his youngest daughter Shaka. Immediately after the succession, all according to Goblin customs, Shaka's siblings challenged her to duels in single combat, and with clenched cheeks, I killed every single one of them one by one. It was now Shaka's time to rule Narltopia and fight for the conquering of Elanor. However, although Shaka followed her father's martial education and had a decent martial education herself, she wasn't anything like him. She was a lot less war-focused and more open to other means of gaining influence. The first thing she did as a queen was change the vassal contract to our liege, now the emperor, to protect title revocation. Because as you can see, our liege doesn't really like us. Yet. Then we changed the chancellor to improve relations within our realm, making all of our vassals happier. Because now we had some elven vassals that didn't really like us. Like, at all. And then Shaka came up with a genius plan that would settle her for life. She organized a feast in the honor of the emperor with the intent of befriending him. It did cost her a big part of her inheritance. However, the feast fell in the emperor's favor and Shaka managed to befriend him, which was going to make the life of every goblin in the realm a lot easier. The emperor did ask us for the conversion of the Ariel faith in return, which Shaka instantly accepted. Adopting their faith was another good chance of increasing relations, and good relations were really going to help out when we'd attempt a coup for the throne of the empire. She changed her lifestyle focus to diplomacy and sought help to learn the Altmeri language. She also attended tournaments within the realm, letting her husband fight in her name for more prestige, and picked up Ariel as her patron for the increased same faith opinion. Living together with the elves made the goblin culture change too, trading the isolationist tradition for culture blending, making the goblins a lot more accepted by all the other cultures. Everything went smoothly for us, until our beloved friend the emperor died and his son Sanyon took the throne. Big sad, because he doesn't really like us as much as his father did. But it didn't matter too much though, because every fellow vassal loved Queen Shaka and her great parties. Everyone was on our side, and when Shaka perchance found 200 points of lifestyle experience while returning from a pilgrimage, she knew this was the time to unveil her plan. She used the points to unlock the meritocracy perk, which made her able to create a scheme to claim the throne of the empire. And about a year later, we had fabricated a claim on the whole empire of Elanor. However, we still had to wait for the right moment to strike, when the empire was weak. It was time for Shaka to reveal her true self once again, and she used all of her piety to change back to the one true faith, Goblin shamanism. Immediately after that, we created our very own holy order, which we would be able to call in for free whenever we were at war with other faiths, like Ariel. The elves didn't really like our new liege, and there were a lot of changes in leadership between our lord and his siblings switching back and forth on the throne. However, somewhere within this power struggle, a 12-year-old kid came to rule. Shaka felt it. This was the time to strike. The war started off strong. However, they just kept coming, and our liege pulled a buttload of armies seemingly out of nowhere. So we had to strategically try and split them up, while constantly dipping back and forth to our own realm for reinforcements. It was a true war of attrition, with the war lasting for over 12 years. And then at the end of the war, disaster struck. Queen Shaka died of heart failure.
Well, that sucks.
We continued to play as our daughter Nizu. However, Shaka's other children were not okay with that, and according to the Goblin tradition, they demanded single combat from Nizu. Why did you guys do this during the most important part of the playthrough? Come on. We did manage to kill our brother Ivgrids, but we did fall to our sister Graluts. She had great martial education, was Herculean and very young, just 17 years old. It is now up to Graluts to finish the war her mother started and become the Empress of Elanor. She quickly got married to Zeke, the only reason being his high martial knowledge, to help her in the upcoming battles. The war was already won for 68%. Graluts only had to finish it, but the fights were hard and tough for her troops. And then she remembered the legacy of her mother, the Holy Order. She called in the Muluk cultists of Silius, and with their help, she managed to bester the last remaining elven troops. And with that, the Goblins now ruled over Elanor. And we gave it a fitting name to let everyone know that the Goblins now had a home and ruled over the elves. Well, that was a ton of fun. I love the Elder Kings 2, it's such an amazing mod, I cannot recommend it enough. Go check it out for yourself, you have no excuses. Thank you guys for watching, and while you're still here, why not check out the next video? A very special thanks to my patrons, you guys are amazing. Well, until next time. Bye.